Good evening. Today we're going to discuss the all India picture, what's happening in this election. What's happening, but more importantly, why is it happening? What's behind the big figures that's going to be reflected in the next Lok Sabha? These are detailed projections that we got from our all India poll, which is going to be the biggest poll we've ever conducted and probably that anybody has conducted in this country. And we've tried to be as rigorous as possible. All the methodology is clear on our website. There is still a plus or minus 2% error. So do understand that these are not absolute figures. There's a margin of error. That's the health warning. And why are we here? We're here in Kerala, in Cochin, in this beautiful, beautiful place. If you've got to come to one place before you die, come to Cochin. Isn't it gorgeous? This is the estuary going straight out into the ocean. And then it goes right round here as backwaters. It's absolutely fantastic. And why are we in Kerala? Because we'll start the program with the All India picture. We'll end the program with the All India picture. But in between, we'll focus on this fascinating state of Kerala, the politics of this state. But first of all, let me tell you, we've been driving around a lot of Kerala, and it's so different from the north. First of all, frankly, there's more prosperity here. The houses are much bigger. You don't see dire poverty. It's partly to do with the fact that remittances from the Gulf, 66,000 crores a year comes into this state. Secondly, it's extremely clean. The roads are clean. You don't see rubbish on the sides. A very civic-minded, conscious population here. And finally, highly educated, highly tuned into politics and highly opinionated, which makes opinion polls here very tough because you ask them a question and they say, no, that's the wrong way to ask that question. This is the way you should ask. So every normal opinion poll, which should take 20 seconds, here takes 5 minutes for each question. But you get solid results in the end and it's great fun. But first, the All India picture. And with me to discuss that is the one and only Dorab Supariwala. Dorab, are you pulling a fast one that's only plus or minus 2%? Or you're to plus or minus 200%?
Make it 10% if you like, if that makes you feel better at this time of the evening.
But the statistics showed plus or minus 2%?
But mustn't forget, the poll data is for the time when it was conducted,
yes.
Not for today.
So any more...
health warning, that's a big health warning.
Also joining us is Shekhar Gupta, Indian Express, Siddharth Vardarajan, Sudhindra Kulkarni, and we are very lucky to have a person who knows the inside story of these elections, Radhakrishnan. Thanks very much for joining us. But first, let's go into the overall picture. Remember, we showed the seats in the last big opinion poll. Let's have a look at what are the reasons behind those seats. What are the votes? And let's have the big divide, and it's very, very interesting. Here's the big divide in this election. You have male voters where the BJP leads by 9% over the Congress UPA. The BJP NDA 34%, Congress UPA 25%. A huge 9% lead. But look at female voters. The Congress and UPA lead the BJP by 2%. Congress UPA 20%, 28%, BJP NDA 26%. It's a country divided. The women are still voting for the Congress. The men are voting for BJP, NDA and Mr. Modi. Then bring in Shekhar Gupta here. Shekhar, one, this major divide, how do you explain it? And two, some people say that women voters eventually vote the way men tell them. But in our polls, we've gone in depth, and women these days are voting independently. They don't listen to the men.
I think only some men believe that the women vote the way they ask them to. Because once you are inside the polling booth, it's your private space. And I think by now people trust the anonymity of the polling process. But having said that, if you see women voting in slightly larger numbers for the Congress party, partly it could be nostalgia, which goes right back to Indira Gandhi's days. And partly it could also be that Modi presents a harder, you can call it hard governance, you can call it hard Hindutva, you can call it hard talking, tough talking image. So maybe it's taken that much longer for women to to move to that side. Frankly, I'm very tempted to say, as one would say in these situations, that maybe the women are smarter as usual, but that will be seen as partisan, so I can't say that. But I think first of all, it busts the myth that women vote as their husbands tell them to vote. Certainly, women don't tell opinion pollsters what their husband told them.
Right. So, Dhendra, if I can bring you in here, what does this project as time goes on, as the campaign goes on? We've seen in the assembly elections recently that in a couple of states, women voter turnout, number of women was higher than men. So, at the moment, we've taken about a little higher men voting like it was last time, but that trend is also changing. So women are voting more and women are voting for Congress. So the BJP should be a little worried about this big divide. They haven't got the women vote yet, like they've got the men's mind.
Over the past decade or so, women voters in India have become far more independent-minded. They are more politically conscious, and a big contribution to this has been made by the silent revolution brought about by 33% reservation in Panchayati Raj bodies, urban local bodies.
Right.
Today there is more than 1 million elected representatives, women representatives, and they are asserting themselves. So this is a big change that has come about in Indian democracy, which is a very welcome development. And the fact that women, as your survey shows, still prefer the Congress over the BJP is, I agree with Shekhar that the BJP's overall campaign this time has been far more aggressive. It appeals to men more. So, we have to wait and see.
So it is a divide that's slightly disturbing. And Siddharth and Dorab, I wanted to ask you about the other trend, and that is the urban-rural divide. Now, earlier on, the BJP used to be a mainly urban party. Is that changing? This is the why of this coming Lok Sabha election. Let's have a look at the urban-rural divide. This is what it looks like. In the urban areas, the BJP NDA leads the Congress by 5%. Strong lead in the urban areas. What about the rural areas? Here what it looks like. In rural areas, the BJP still leads, but by 2%. 28 to 26. So Siddharth, it's still, BJP is still maintaining its strength in the urban areas, and it seems to have picked up a bit in the rural areas as well. It's become ahead of the Congress now, which is traditionally not true. That's a change.
I wonder whether the margin of error for both the male-female and the rural-urban is significant enough for one to theorize. I'll set that aside for a minute.
You see, when you don't agree with the results, you always go to the margin of error.
No, I think, in the sense that I think this election...
No, but you're right.
I think this election for the BJP is really one that they have to win in the cities. In 2004 and 2009, the Congress and the UPA came to power essentially riding on the back of lower middle class, urban working class vote. City after city, the Congress did much better than they had done in the past, and that explains a major part of why they formed a government. I think the BJP really needs to do well. 5%. I wonder if a 5% margin is enough of a comfort level. I do want to make one small observation on the women's issue, though, Prannoy, if I may.
Yes, please.
I think this captures. I think if the 2% figure is correct, that the Congress is preferred, I think this shows a lost opportunity for the Congress party. Had they been sincere and pushed ahead with the women's reservation bill, had they ensured that it was passed not just in the Rajya Sabha but also in the Lok Sabha, and that, as in 2009, they said that this election would be conducted on the basis of 33% of those elected being women, I think there would have been a very handsome electoral dividend for the party. But that's all water under the bridge.
Very true, very true.
Can I make a comment on the men-women thing?
Yeah.
I think the BJP has benefited amongst women by the fact there's inflation. Nothing hurts a woman more, a woman who has to run a household, than inflation. And I think that has helped the BJP.
With the women, so it would be even worse, trail even further if it wasn't for inflation.
I would think so, because, inflation always brings out women against whoever's brought around the inflation, and they blame the government.
So Radhakrishnan, I mean, you're allowed to speak on global, I mean on the All India figure because you're extremely well informed on that as well. Does this surprise you that BJP is trailing amongst women?
Well, not really, because I thought the entire BJP bandwagon, as to say, it's sort of, it looked very much male, very much aggressive, macho, and the fact that, Sonia Gandhi is on the other side, a youngish bachelor is there with the other side, and as she said, I mean, as he said, the kind of issues that are being, the problems of inclusive growth, which normally people associate with Congress or the left of center parties, and these are things which I thought women will be more interested, and so obviously this this divide between the Congress and BJP.
I'll bring you one more why of this election, why the two parties are doing relatively. Let's look at the age of the voter. Who's getting the younger voter? Who's getting the older voter? This is what it looks like. As far as the BJP is concerned, it got 31% of the young voter, that's 18 to 22, and only 26% of the older voter, that's 60 years plus. While the Congress, way behind amongst younger voters, but marginally ahead amongst older voters. Dora, what explains this?
Older people do tend to be more conservative, more resistant to change. You're promising big changes, and that concern. I think actually women and older people behave in a similar manner. Want stability, more resistant to change, less influenced by the 56-inch chest size. They are just a bit more conservative, and I think that shows this.
Okay, and I'll quickly go in and get Shekhar's view on just the religion breakup and the caste breakup, and all these will help us understand how the BJP is actually winning this election overall. Let's have a look first at the religion breakup of voter, how the support for each party is divided religion-wise. Now let's have a look at Hindus first, for example. Among Hindus, if there you have the Hindu voters, BJP NDA leads by 9% over the Congress UPA, 32% to 23%. But what about among Muslim voters? BJP NDA, Congress leads by 31%. Congress UPA 39, and there are of course other allies which will add up to the rest, but the BJP is still only 8 out of 100 Muslim voters. And some people say even that's a bit surprising. But let's have a look at caste as well, and then we just understand what all this means. Let's have a look at the caste breakup. Among Brahmin voters, the BJP NDA leads by 38%, 54% to the BJP, 16% to the Congress UPA. That's a thrashing. What about scheduled caste, scheduled tribe? Congress leads by 7%. 28% to the Congress, 21% to the BJP NDA. So Shekhar, this country is quite divided politically in several different directions. Is this a bad sign, or is it something that's normal?
Well, this is diversity. This is what diversity is all about. And I think this is India's great strength. In fact, it's India's diversity that protects us, besides our institutions, from majoritarian excess. You remember, even after the emergency, and in 1980, following that, when landslide did take place, people said South and the rest of India voted differently. That was also an example of diversity, keeping some balance in India's politics. So I think this is just the way India's population is. There's no point being judgmental about it. In fact, there is no need to be judgmental about it, because sense of identity in India for any citizen comes from one of the many sources. There is no single determinant of identity in India. It can be caste, it can be religion, it can be ethnicity, it can be language, it can be ideology. It can be gender. So I think this is what makes an Indian election such a wonderful thing, and this is what makes India such an argumentative civilization, because you can't get 10 people who will follow the diktat of one book to begin with in a room.
Right, Siddharth, Many would say that most democracies have this kind of division, even very mature democracies like, say, the United States. You have the Latin vote, the black vote, the Jewish vote,
the women vote.
The women vote, and people target them. Is this just an example of that, or can this also be manipulated and used negatively?
Well,
or is this fine the way it's being segmented?
I think this figure, it's an interesting figure, because what it tells you is that even though a difference of 9% among Hindu in terms of Hindu support appears significant, it also tells you that 23% of Hindus back the Congress. So in effect, the size of the Hindu vote bank, quote unquote, is a rock. In other words, those who are rock solid behind the BJP, come what may, is about 9%, which roughly compares to the size of the Muslim vote bank, as it were, given the strength of the the percentage of population who are Muslims in India. And I think both the Congress and the BJP, in one way or the other, do play this game. But I think at the end of the day, the decision that voters take hinges, as Shekhar said, on so many different factors. I think what will be decisive in many places is the candidate, the mix of parties who are in the fray. Because typically we're looking at multipolar, multi-cornered contests in a large number of states. So I think at the end of the day, I don't think this is as decisive as the statistics would seem to suggest.
Right. Very true. Sudhindra, what strikes you in these figures is that the BJP is targeting its votes much better, and the Congress seems to be getting what it is by default. As Siddharth pointed out earlier, if they're so far ahead in the women's reservation bill, they should have women's vote. They should have passed the women's reservation. Dora pointed out they should have made sure that prices were under control. But they're just getting whatever they're getting by default. But the BJP targeting men, targeting upper caste, targeting Hindus, better strategy, electoral strategy?
What strikes me is that the BJP has consistently refused to embrace the religious and social diversity of India. The fact that BJP NDA has only 8% of the Muslim vote, and Muslims are not really, they are the second largest majority and not a minority. Correct. There was a time when the BJP was regarded as a North Indian party, a Baniya party, a Brahmin party, but over the decades it has expanded its social support base. Even geographically, to some extent, it has strengthened itself in Western India and to some extent in South India. But if you see the social diversity, religious diversity, there is a certain ideological mental block. We don't want a Muslim vote. We can win in spite of the Muslim support. This arrogance is going to cost the BJP dearly. They think that we can come to power without you, and we will demonstrate it in 2014. Now, this kind of arrogance doesn't help any party, and in any case, no party, and certainly not the BJP, can govern on its own without the support of this large section of Indian society, that's Muslims.
Right. We'll come back to the All India picture, but let's take a little break and look into the fascinating, honestly, you'll just see as this puzzle unfolds, the fascinating politics of Kerala. It's complex, it's very difficult to predict. First, just look at the history of how vote seats swing from one side to the other. And by the way, just have a look at this. This is the UDF and the LDF. The left is the LDF here. 16-4 in the last election out of the 20 seats. Let's have a look. 2004, 218. The other way around. Look at that. 11-9. All three positions seen in just 3 elections. An important thing, Dorab, is that these huge swings in seats, you don't need huge swings in votes. They're pretty solid and very tough margins.
What tends to happen is that there are, say, a certain number of seats, 5 or 6, which have large margins. The rest are 1%, 2%, 3%, and the candidate, the infighting, etc., determine those seats. So Kerala is actually in the hands of the gods above.
Let's have a look at the other graphic that you've got on how tough the fight is here in Kerala. Yeah. There are 20 seats in Kerala. Out of those 20 seats, there's such a huge, tough fight in 10 out of the 20. They are marginal. So you may have 5 out of the balance 10, but who's going to get this 10? Just a 3% swing, and you can lose all 10, or you can gain all 10.
And now you have defectors, all kinds of people standing. And what is 2 or 3% after all? I mean, firstly, there's the range of error in the forecast that we make, in addition to which a candidate comes in on the last day and grabs 5%, a local man from an assembly seat who's powerful there, and you got another, the seat has moved. In fact, while we've been moving from Trivandrum to Cochin, we've been told for a number of seats where people are saying, look, it's too close to call because, this man has just come in. Mr. Baby's seat, for instance, which is a very prestigious fight, people are now saying it's close to call.
Right,
And,
very prestigious seat. Yeah.
Very prestigious seat.
But there are so many wheels within
Correct.
wheels. We'll come to why that is a close
Fine.
fight. But have a look at the religious divide in Kerala. It's amazing. Let's have a look at how the different sects and religions in Kerala are voting. Here it is. Let's have a look. In fact, in Kerala, there are about 19% to 20% Christians, 25% Muslims, and 56% Hindu, majority Hindu. The Congress has got 2/3 of the Christian vote, almost 2/3 of the Muslim vote, but only 1/3 of the Hindu vote. The CPM-led LDF has got only 22% of the Christian vote, 34%, almost half the Congress in the Muslim vote, which will surprise a lot of people, and 51% of the Hindu vote. So it's a Hindu party here. Not really.
Several people did call it actually while we've been traveling. A number of people saying that it's a Nair Edewa party now. It does happen. I mean, there is a divide.
The backward car, which is about
very
26%,
large, and the
solid
Nairs.
CPM. Tell me, Radhakrishnan, this kind of divide has been here all along, so they're just marginal shifts and that can change everything. So this time, one of the things that the CPM has done is fielded Christian candidates as independent, supported by them. That's to kind of break this pattern. It's like a cephalogical approach to politics.
Absolutely, because the CPM has been talked for a long time about this particular problem, how to get into these minorities, and they have never succeeded in this attempt, in spite of all kinds of formulas and strategies and all. But fortunately for the CPM, it has never succeeded in even making an inch into this community. It has been like this for a long time. In fact, and some of the most important political struggles that happened in Kerala, the left is actually on the one side and the right actually is led by the religious leadership than the political leadership. For instance, it's Catholic Church and Muslim League, it has been with the UDF for such a long time.
Right.
And so, especially in these northern districts like Malappuram and Kozhikode, those districts, the Muslim League has all the seats, except for 2004 when they had a shock upsets there. So this has been going on for a long time, and all these efforts have come to a knot as far as CPM, the left is concerned. And it is exactly as you said, this to cross this electoral Rubicon of the traditional, getting trapped, getting out of the minorities
I have two questions on this, which we've been finding, that people are saying the Aam Aadmi Party is still very small, but it's going to take some votes, 3, 4, 5. Where will it get its vote from? The kind is anti-establishment, so will it get it from the UDF more than the LDF? And if the Modi has any impact, again, frankly, in Kerala, we've not seen that so far, but say it goes, BJP has traditionally 6.3% of the vote. If that goes up to say 8 or 9, 3% makes a lot of difference. Right. Where will that 3% come from? Will it come from the CPM because it's Hindu base of 51%, or will it come equally? These two could make a lot of it's completely imponderables in this election.
Well, that's right. But I think this time BJP is going to get some votes from both the camps, definitely, because especially with this, Kerala has always had this, fence-sitting community, which is actually growing. That is one of the most important, developments that have happened in the last 10, 15 years. After the Kerala has become almost a middle-class society, especially as you said, the remittances and all those things. So this group, the non-committed, the fence-sitting group has been growing, and they're just waiting for an opportunity to sort of, get itself articulated. So Aam Aadmi Party, everybody thought that this will be the section which Aam Aadmi Party is going to attract. But we have to see whether this actually happens. But, there is a growing community who is dissatisfied, disenchanted with both the fronts.
Okay, Let's have a look at how different Kerala is. It's like a different politics here to the rest of the country. So we asked here who would make the best Prime Minister of India across the entire, and this is what it says. This is what the people of Kerala feel the best Prime Minister. Arvind Kejriwal, 6%. And next, let's have a look. Mr. Manmohan Singh, 6%. After that, next, let's see. Narendra Modi, 22%. And then top of the list, Rahul Gandhi with 52%. Now that is so different from any other part of the country. And quickly, let's have a look at the best Chief Minister, because although this is a Lok Sabha election, we also wanted to find that impact, local impact. Oman Chandy, 20%, best Chief Minister. Next best is in fact Achyutanandan, the former kind of rebel come back to the CPM in the last 2 weeks, 27%. And A.K. Antony, still an old favorite here. Whatever he does, he's always the hot favorite for Kerala. So Siddharth, if I can just ask you, completely different politics. Rajiv Gandhi, 52% as best Rahul Gandhi, 52% as best Prime Minister in Kerala. You haven't seen that in other states.
Well, I suppose the prime ministerial choice reflects the party political reality, right, at the surface level. So if the BJP is not really in the fray, it's not. Right. It doesn't surprise me that. I mean, 22% is still a pretty impressive figure considering that the vote share of the BJP is just 10%. But it doesn't surprise me that Rahul Gandhi does so well as a prime ministerial choice candidate, as a choice of voters in Kerala, given the terrain. And this may be a pointer to the way in which the numbers finally fall between the UDF and the LDF, because there's been a seesawing in terms of public perception over the last 3 or 4 months, different issues that hurt the LDF, hurt the UDF. But I think this may be some pointer, at least in terms of the overall thinking of the Kerala electorate.
Right. We actually, while we were here, we caught up with the current Chief Minister and we asked him, is it you that's going to make a difference, or is it people at the center? Because the UPA anti-incumbency affected the center. Here there's a bit of drift in this government. So we talked to Mr. Chandy, Oman Chandy. This is what he had to say. Just ask you in terms of center state about corruption. Our opinion poll says most people in the country are scared of the Congress coming back at the center. They think corruption will come up. Now you yourself here in this state has also got corruption charges, the solar panel scam, etc. So both sides are corruption.
Solar panel case is only a cheating case. Only 7 crores rupees. Some individuals cheated some other individuals. There was a single rupee lost to the state government. There is no case. Any government officials or the ministers helped this cheating.
But it's your own office got involved, right? People from your office. Is it an issue in this election?
No, so we are ready. So the judicial, we have already been ordered for a judicial inquiry. So that too will definitely discuss in the decision.
It is an issue though.
Maybe that may be. So we are not afraid of these things. The people will decide, no problem.
What about the Kasturi Rangan report? Is this causing a lot of political turmoil in this state?
See, I just want to ask you on this exactly. Kasturi Rangan report is pro-environment. But pro-environment hurts many of the people in the hills because they can't build schools, they can't build new construction. So are you pro-environment, anti-environment?
No, we are all pro-environment protection. See, the Kerala is a very thickly populated state. Correct. Even then, our forest area is more than the national average. But we believe we have to protect environment, but with the support of the people.
So you'll amend the report?
Amend the report.
You will amend it?
Amend the report. At the same time, we will protect environment.
Let me ask you, you have 9 ministers. Kerala has 9 ministers in the central government. Won't you be affected by the anti-incumbency of the central government? See, with 9 ministers there?
And the performance of those ministers has not been stellar in recent years.
Last 10 years, we got what we want.
But those ministers are again standing for elections, so won't have anti-incumbency?
No, they are contesting all the Lok Sabha members are
Correct.
contesting.
So their anti-incumbency will affect them and affect the party as a whole.
In Kerala, the people knows everything. There is no such lapses from the party or anything. So we are not expecting any such difficulty.
You know, we did a survey of the whole of every state, and we asked the women of the state, do you feel unsafe? Of all the states, Kerala was number one in women feeling most unsafe. Why is that? Why are women unsafe in such an educated state?
I don't think so like that. So in Kerala...
Is it alcohol where the men... That is a problem.
In Kerala, we are giving much importance and respect for the women.
But
There may be some incidents are there. Very unfortunate things are there. Even then, in the general attitude of the people, that is pro-women and respect women. That is the culture of our state.
But you know what is surprising, Mr. Chandy, is that this is a state where there are many more women than men in the population.
Yes.
It was a matriarchal society, yet in politics, except Prof. for Gauri Amma, you see no women. How come?
See, the women are very active in Kerala, but they are not very active in politics. But for the employment in the secretariat, bank, education field, the women representation is more than men.
Good luck, sir. Good luck, and
Thank you very much.
you're working very hard, so good luck with it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, they're saying that one of the factors, you see, we're looking at little factors that go up to adding up to a swing for or against. So one of the factors against the UDF is the anti-incumbency in the center. People are angry with price rise, etc. Is there anti-incumbency at the local level against the chief minister, or is it okay? It's kind of just a drift.
Well, there is an element of anti-incumbency against the chief minister.
So both local and central.
Both local and central, because
That'll add to a swing against the Congress.
Yeah, to an extent, because that particular question about the corruption, that cases that have happened in Kerala, especially the Solar case, and in which this has actually rocked the state like anything. High Court has made very strong strictures against the government and the chief minister in person. So these things will have its impact, not so much as the left hopes it will it will make, but at the same time, to an extent, this has gone deep into this, into the society. And almost everywhere, this has been, and the media also has been going to town with this.
So it's corruption at the center, corruption here, anti-incumbency there, little drift of policy making here. So one of the factors that everybody talks about here is the one and only 91-year-old firebrand. Can you be a firebrand at 91? Well, Mr. V.S. Achyutanandan is. And the huge change that's happened in the last 2-3 weeks, he's been a rebel in his own party, the left party. He's been the towering personality of the party, but he's rebelled against it. Suddenly in the last 3 weeks, he's back. Everything is fine. So we went along to one of his rallies and just want to give you a glimpse of what a firebrand this 91-year-old man. If we're like him when he's 91, we'll be in good shape.
ഈ ഇടപാടുകളിലെല്ലാം തന്നെ ഇന്ത്യയിലെ മഹാഭൂരിപക്ഷങ്ങളുടെ ഇടതുപക്ഷ മതനിരപേക്ഷ കക്ഷികളുടെ
Tell me, you have done so many elections.
Yes.
Is this most difficult or average? How difficult is this election?
Yes. Here in Kerala, 20 seats.
Correct.
We are mobilized. Half a seat we are gather and winning influence.
Congress and BJP, what are their faults?
They are anti-people policies. They are the children of the corporates.
His speeches in Malayalam are mesmerizing. They are powerful and they are funny, and the whole audience was absolutely mesmerized. And so that's a plus for the swing towards the LDF, him coming back. Let's have a look, therefore, at the seat forecast and the votes forecast for Kerala. This is our latest poll, update from our poll that we did about 4 to 5 weeks ago. It now shows Kerala divided right down the middle. The UDF getting 10 out of 20 seats, down 6 since last time, and the left, LDF, 10, up 6 since last time. You know, actually, Mr. Achuthanandan said we've got half the seats. I promise you this was not influenced by his forecast, but he seems to have got it right. So this is the vote forecast. In the vote forecast, it looks as though the UDF still has a marginal tipping balance in favor, 45% down, 3% swing away, and the left 43%. But even though I've explained that, 45 to 43, but 10 seats each.
You know, because you don't win the seat by same margin, it's for the same number of votes in every seat. So I think even 3 or 4% difference can account for the same number of seats, because in some area you're winning big and you're losing small. So that is well within the range of error. But you know, when it's so tight, when it changes by the week, as we get closer to the elections, the next poll, we might find that, you know, it's even more confusing. It is very confusing.
Let's have a quick look at how, this poll compared with last poll. The last poll that we did just about a month ago, and this poll. So a lot has happened in between in this 1 month. Of course, the campaign is just picking up. This is what it looks like. Opinion poll 1, 13 seats to the UDF, 7 to the LDF. Now it's 10 each. So there has been a swing to the LDF since the last poll.
2 or 3%, you know. Firstly, Mr. Achuthanandan is back. But I think, you know, 3% swing in a sample of this size, you know, I mean, we're saying that it's a small sample, and I think we're not way out. But
right.
I think that's about as much as we can say.
Siddharth Varadarajan, this kind of narrow, very marginal seats, very difficult to forecast. So would you go along, have you been following the scene in Kerala that there has been a slight trend towards the LDF in the last month or so?
Well, from a distance, but I mean, I've been following it from a distance, but I think the Achuthanandan factor, let's not forget, he did a lot of damage to the CPM a few months ago by highlighting the Chandrasekharan murder case. He, in a way, conveyed messages from the widow, blaming the party leadership. In the last 2 weeks, he's resigned from that position. He's in a way recanted what he said earlier. Maybe he has ambitions to come back into commanding position as far as the state government is concerned, because I think the overall outlook for Oomen Chandy next time, at least going by these numbers, is not very rosy. So perhaps he is nurturing an ambition to come back at the state level, and hence has plunged back in and sort of recanted what he said earlier. But clearly his presence has been a major factor. And I think the other thing which is very hard to read is the impact. I think Dorab, you asked the question to the Chief Minister, the Kasturi Rangan report impact. It's estimated that somewhere from 8 to 10 seats become vulnerable, particularly for the UDF, on account of the extent to which the report is going to be implemented, to what extent will quote-unquote development activities be compromised, and the inability of the Congress to actually take a clear-cut position and to tell people exactly what will be allowed and what won't be, I think is also costing the UDF as we get closer to the elections.
Right.
And Prannoy, if I may come in for
well,
a second.
Can I? Yeah. Please go ahead.
See, we are discussing UDF and LDF, but we also forget that this is a state in which the BJP will perhaps not win a seat for a long time still. But Modi chose Kerala to make some very significant statements. In fact, he chose Kerala to announce its Hindutva plus approach to this election. He came to Shivagiri, which is the spiritual capital of the Erawas, one of the most backward Dalit communities. And then he also addressed a convention of a Dalit organization. And what did he say? He said, you've been called untouchable because of caste all this while. I am called politically untouchable. So we are the same. So So he's shown a certain astuteness, and in Kerala, just a completely different point. Everybody plays identity politics. So why does the CPM, for example, left front
Absolutely.
put up Christy
Actually, that is the surprising
Fernandez
thing.
in Cochin just because he's a Latin Catholic? So Latin Catholic versus K.V. Thomas. Everybody plays identity politics, and Modi is playing identity politics indirectly
It's
by going
amazing.
somewhere else and making a
highly
statement.
educated state, a highly sophisticated state with politics at its peak, but everybody's basically, it boils down to caste and religion. So what is the CPM actually, what is its main campaign plank? And Dorab and I met M.A. Baby in this very prestigious fight at Kollam, and we asked him, what is it all about? What are you doing? Here's what he had to say. M.A. Baby, CPM. A lot of people are saying that CPM, if they comes to the center, will support the Congress. So might as well vote for Congress direct. Why do the
Indirect.
Of course,
yes.
some people, but we are asking, where is the Congress? They are deserting. Congress is not fighting BJP. Therefore, this third force is going to come, and maybe like 1996, Congress will be compelled to support us. This is the scenario.
Right. That is the scenario you're painting.
That's right.
But third force, is made up of so many leaders. As you mentioned in your speech now, I heard you mention Naveen Patnaik, and Jitish Kumar. The question is, can they really, you are all chiefs in your own state, can you really get together in a central government and form a stable government?
I personally feel that these regional political leaders, they are, of course, are giving their local, issues importance, and even their alliances. Some of them are keeping their fingers crossed. But I feel that when a national call is being made, they would rise up to the occasion, and like what had happened in 1996.
I'll ask you $1 million question. If the Alternative Front can form the government, who will be your Prime Minister?
You see, we are focusing on alternate policies.
But you'll need one man.
Of course, that man will emerge. We had VPC in '89, then Deva Gowda, then
Any
Gujarat.
front runner now?
No,
Nitish Kumar?
we are not. We don't want to mention anybody.
Are you okay with Nitish Kumar?
We have all these 10. There are many competent people, and Nitish Kumar is fundamental.
And Naveen Patnaik also?
Jayalalitha can also play a very important role.
Jayalalitha, that was a big blow to you, wasn't it? Jayalalitha going?
You see, there in every state we need not have to have alliances. Deva Gowda, we don't have an alliance in Karnataka. That is not the most important.
So I'm just asking, in this election, when you've lost the RSP here, you've got so many uphill tasks in the local issues. How will that impact your party? I tend to notice that your strategy this time has been to be very tactical about candidate choice. You're choosing particular religions and independent candidates giving support. So you're doing a very tactical election this time.
You mentioned about RSP, but one of the senior most leaders in Kerala politics, Gauri Amma, she joined. She is campaigning for us.
Right. So that's a positive.
Very positive. She has tremendous.
So you tell me again about this tactics. Here's a state very high literacy, very politicized, but underlying so much caste, religion is in the underlying basis of politics. Is that still there?
Yes and no. You see, you mentioned about we fielding independence. This is not for the first time. In 57 we had EMS government. In that, Joseph Mundasheri was a minister who got elected as an independent. A.R. Menon, Justice Krishnaye. See, 3 ministers were not.
But I still feel that the CPM are becoming psephologists. You are choosing people based on...
Mr. Baby, how many seats do you expect to win out of 20? Give us your forecast.
We want to repeat what has happened in 2004. So,
18 out of 20.
That's right.
Well, good luck. And don't listen to his psephology. Okay?
Thank you very much.
Do your own. Thank you very much.
It's an honor for us.
And you're looking even fresher than this.
Thank you, Mr. Baby.
God bless you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Kolam, a very highly tense contest then, very prestigious. I'm just going to do quickly in 30 seconds, bounce off you all the things we've learned about complexities of this election.
Right.
What are the factors in favor of the LDF? One, anti-incumbency UPA at the center, little bit of anti-incumbency local government. Achyutanandan returning is helping them. Half of the Communist Marxist Party coming back to them is helping them. Gauri Amma returning is helping the LDF. These are three kind of vote additives. Price rise is helping them. Price fall is helping them because they're saying commodity prices are falling because of multinationals, etc. So commodity prices falling is helping them. General price rising, inflation is helping them. Corruption both at the center and here is helping the LDF. The Kasturi Rangan report is sort of helping them, although that's been slightly countered by the state government also rejecting the report and amending it. And finally, the Aam Aadmi Party may cut more into the Congress than into the left front. What's helping the UDF? They keep on and it rings a bell, the politics of violence and agitation of the left front. That seems to be striking a chord, and the left can't shake that off. Any Modi impact will take Hindu votes and could take them more away from the LDF because their base is much more in the Hindu vote here. The left's reduced role in the center. We saw a lot of people saying, but they won't have any role, so why are we voting for them in the center? And the UDF, these are all pro-UDF. UDF more united this time. They've always had fights between
IUML
and Mr.
Kerala
Chandrakala.
Congress
Now they've
within
got
the
a new
Congress,
PCC chief who's quite a good image. So all three are fighting together. And finally, the RSP has joined the UDF. So it's a very... How do you get a swing out of this? So what's the bottom line?
Well, I think this is again, that is how, what I said, eventually this will reinforce the kind of power equations that the state always has had. In the sense that, as both the fronts will be ending up with almost equal number of seats, the 10 and 10, plus maybe one or two other side. I mean, that actually reflects the kind of things that are actually happening.
That's the beauty of Kerala politics. It's a fascinating election.
In spite of all these factors, a wave is completely non-existent.
There's no wave here.
Absolutely.
Yeah, right. That's the key point. One last look at the all-India picture. We had a look at one factor about all our MPs over the last 5 years. Just let's leave you with that, and I'll ask a comment from Shekhar and Sudhindra on the MPLADS scheme. This is the amount of money that each MP gets to spend on development. They can just spend it. And just look at, these are the 10 best users of the MPLADS scheme. They've used 100%. But these are the 10 best. From Lakshadweep, from Maharashtra, from Andhra Pradesh, Kapil Sibal from Delhi, Ramesh Bes from Chhattisgarh, Kishore Chandra Deo from Andhra Pradesh. They've used all, Kamal Nath. These people have helped their constituencies by spending the money they're meant to spend. They've actually spent it. Now look at the worst MPs. And let me tell you, not too many have spent 100%. This money they just have to use and they don't use it. Bhudev Chaudhary of the JDU, 36% he spent. Kamlesh Paswan, 37%. They're spending 1/3 to 40% of the money that they're meant to use. And here some more. Putul Kumari, only 39%. Babulal Marandi, 39%.
6 of the 10 are from Bihar.
6 of the 10 are from Bihar. And they're not spending, state needs Kirti Azad.
Let me say one thing, even those who spend, Mr. Surya Prakash has a study saying a lot of it goes to private trust linked to the person, a lot of it spent on the wrong things, a lot of it given to by checks to their own contractors. So, it's just not spending, it's how well you spend that matter.
First, if you don't spend, it's a disaster. Then if you spend, you got to spend on the right.
That's right.
Shekhar, I mean, if you've got funds to spend on your constituency, why don't people do it? You spend 1/3, 30%, 40%. It's a disgrace, actually.
Yes, and I think the only thing I can blame this on is laziness, because the principle goes that don't search for conspiracies, what you can explain through laziness. So these are lazy MPs. But having said that, I'm in full agreement with Aam Aadmi Party on this, that MPLADS funds are a stupid idea. And the fact that so few MPs actually spend them tells you that we should now move in the direction of removing these, removing MPLAD funds, because MP's job is to come to Delhi and make policy and help government make policies and to make laws. It's not to go and fix their constituencies. We have now created, we've now provided this money to bring about a localization of national politics, of Lok Sabha politics, which in any case is the wrong thing. And this is a completely undue advantage.
I just wanted to bring in
undue advantage in the hands of the incumbent.
Right. That's true actually, Sudhindra. But just apart from the policy of MPLADS, the fact that it's there and people, MPs don't even spend it. I would say well over half don't spend their 100%. Well over, right?
Oh, yes.
Prannoy, before I come to this, may I make two small points about Kerala? Because I was very happy to see my old friend and comrade M.A. Baby there. We worked together in the Students' Federation of India many years ago. I have high regard for him, and he is one of the highly regarded politicians in Kerala. I wish him well. Second, in Kerala, you know, as the BJP did in Goa, where they were able to get the support of the Christian community significantly, and which helped Manohar Parrikar win the assembly election, the BJP should make proactive efforts to win at least a section of the Christian vote, and of course even the Muslim vote. So what they have achieved in Goa is a welcome initiative which they should replicate elsewhere in the country. Now coming to MPLAD,
Parrikar is an chief minister with a difference.
You know, coming to MPLADS, I think
So go ahead.
Yeah, this is a scheme that really needs to be scrapped. You know, if you see the origin of this scheme, it came up at a point when Narasimha Rao was facing a deep political crisis, and this was a way of winning the support of members of parliament. It was a kind of political bribery. And over the years, 1 crore has become 2 crores and now 5 crores. It leads to so many irregularities, and it is actually a diversion from the members of parliament. You know, their main work, their main task, responsibility is to formulate policies, make laws, which they are completely neglecting in parliament, and they're getting
I'm
bogged down in local issues.
Okay, fellas, I'm afraid I'm being shouted at. So sorry, I am being shouted at. We are well over time. Siddharth, I wanted to come to you last word. You can have your last word on our next Battleground. But for tonight, everybody, thanks very much for watching. Fascinating election. What a fascinating place. Goa, we're at the Taj Malabar, and just look at the Kerala. Kerala.
Goa all the time. That's your problem. Goa.
Because Sudhindra was talking about...
No. Don't tell us a lie.
But let me tell you, this matches Goa. That's the container port. That's the beautiful old city of Cochin. It is a wonderful place. Thanks for watching.
From Goa.
Hope you understood a bit of the complexities of Kerala. It's a fascinating state.
From Goa, good night from all of us.
Bye-bye.